So I'm Brainless. We'll be casting this clan war of PigPan versus NoCap. Today with me is
Matt.
Mothra, the famous
Yeah, hello.
mathematician from NoCap.
Yeah, very, very famous.
Okay, and we're getting ready to go with our first game of the day. It is going to be Terran versus Protoss with Senju representing PigPan on the Terran side versus FBI.Matt from NoCap playing Protoss. So the teams are ready, the observers are ready, and I think we can shortly begin with our first map being Stargazers. So in the PvT matchup, the map is apparently slightly Protoss favored. Although I would not have guessed that because I do like how you can drop on this map as a Terran.
It makes sense to me that it's Protoss favored, given it has a back base and it's kind of hard to attack into. But yeah, the Doom drop is quite strong, right? That's what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in the top right hand corner we have our Terran player and he is representing PigPan and this is well, Senju.
Okay, according to Booyah, I'm quiet.
I can bring you up. And in the top left corner, we have our Protoss player, Matt. So both players are opening fairly standard. Let me just quickly fix the audio settings, and we're going to follow the scouting probe while that happens.
Double gas from the Terran, so most likely a very aggressive opener. Could be some kind of drop opening, for example. It makes sense on this map.
Okay, hopefully this fixes our audio problem and brings up Mothra a little bit. And well, we have a little bit of harassment coming out of probe. Interestingly enough, Matt did not check the gases on the Terran, but it almost seems like this probe might be up to something devious himself. Oh, this is very interesting. So we have a fairly aggressive opening versus out of Terran, which probably is going to start a factory anytime soon. Yep, the factory goes down. And we have some flavor of proxies out of Protoss. So in this, I would say Terran is by far the favorite.
Yeah, you can also see Matt has a lot of Chrono Boost. If the Terran scouts it, this should be very, very good for him.
Yeah, the Terran starts with
Double factory.
reactor marine double factory. Interesting. So I don't think he can
Okay,
sustain that amount of production off of just two gases.
there is a double factory cyclone you can do on one base. If he does that, I think that is actually just a free win for him.
Well, he is starting a tech lab on the first factory, so if it is that, then
Yeah.
for
So if he
sure it's going to
goes,
be interesting.
we'll see if he goes for Magfield. If he starts Magfield right away, this should be a cyclone.
He starts the
It's a
tank.
tank.
Okay,
Okay, I don't think it's a builder.
and we have an oracle out of our proxy bear, and we have another tech lab going on. So the your prediction of mass cyclone is all correct, except he's not building any.
Yeah, it's a second tech lab, so
Our
this could be. He has enough Marines, but they're out of position.
They are, so I think this oracle can do. And the
And it's
fleet beacon.
Tempest.
But what is the oracle doing? Why is the oracle going the wrong way? You use the oracle to scout. Or at least that's the conventional wisdom. Oh, okay, so he was just rotating around, and I think he's gonna get like 3 or 4 kills if he's micro properly. There we go, 2. Almost gets a okay, there we go. Gets a 3rd and escapes with no hull damage. You could even argue he could have stayed for the 4th kill, but
Yeah. I think
this.
with his stutter stepping, he gets the third SCV for free. That makes it equal.
Yep. But we do have a fairly scary push coming out of Terran, and I don't think that there's anything on Matt's side of the map that can hold 3 tanks. The Marines don't have stem, and they don't have shields, so they're going to be fairly easy to kill. However, there's no units absolutely on the side of Matt. He only has that Oracle, Adept, and a Tempest.
I think he just flies back, should fly back to Oracle and recall the Tempest. And then he picks off enough Marines to the Tempest until he can fly in with Oracle and kill the rest.
Yeah, but he's already losing 6 probes.
Tempest is recalled. Right, let's see.
Okay, so Tempest is going to siege down those Marines, and it's actually going to be a fairly good defense. Oracle is lost. That is a fairly big blow to the Protoss army.
Okay, meanwhile at home, all production is stopped for Senju as he focuses on the micro. If you would follow up with Cyclones, I think this would just be a guaranteed win.
Yeah, we have first two Cyclones on the field, and they are damaging the hull of the Tempest. So now, let's see if he can actually. Okay, and the FBI.Matt calls it GG. That was an interesting game to start us off with. So we are.
Let's just say I would not have expected a double factory tank all-in to beat a Stargate.
I think there we go. So the first map goes to Senju, representing PigPan, and FBI.Matt has a second game upcoming versus StrawBaby, and it is going to be Zerg versus Protoss. StrawBaby representing PigPan and FBI.Matt representing NoCap. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. Double factory. I think the challenge with that is you're starved for gas, so you can't afford to pump out 3 tanks. So you're basically building a second factory and a second tech lab to make 1 tank. So it feels like it's a huge resource commitment for just 1 extra unit.
You also think that if you do that, it's probably better proxied, and I would rather see 1 starport making 1 Liberator at a time, because I think Liberator, if you get the siege position and you get a Liberator up, it's just kind of game over.
Mm-hmm.
While with tanks, you have more counterplay, with like Zealots and Probes.
Big thanks to Bullia for organizing these clan wars between PigPan and NoCap. It seems like almost every other week we have an event going, but organizing this amount of players is like herding cats. So if you do appreciate these clan wars and you do like participating in them, please do be prompt, and especially when it comes to things like map picks, bans, and so on and so forth. And we are playing a ZVT On Tropical Sacrifice? Alrighty. And now, starting with red probes in the bottom left corner of the map, it is... Nope, told you. It is Matt, representing NoCap. And in the top right-hand corner, playing with blue Zerg drones, it is StrawBaby, representing PigPan.
At least the colors are correct.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out StarCraft 2 casting tool and overlay and how this all fits together. It is a really nice program, but it does have its own quirks. And we have a standard opener out of our Zerg, no 12-pull aggressions. Oof. This is interesting.
Oh, yeah, I also just noticed it.
Typically you wall off on the low ground in a matchup versus Zerg with the first 3 buildings. Oh yeah. I do need to change the score. I just need to know how.
I think what probably happened is that he forgot his first Python and then like panic built the Python close to the Nexus and I was like, fuck it.
Oh, that could be it. That could be it.
Like I think most people are aware of having to wall the low ground, as you can see with his second Python.
Yeah, is in the correct spot, and he can still salvage this, but if he needs to Chronon Adept now.
Ooh, that wall does also not look very great, to be honest.
Okay, so he really needs to Chronon Adept. He really needs a unit.
I don't even know if that's the correct reaction if you fucked it up. Or if you...
Well, the thing is, like, if you have an Adept, you can defend the first 4 Zerglings with micro.
Yeah.
And they cannot depower your stuff. But if you're relying on a incomplete wall, you're in big trouble.
But I mean, the thing is that speed is not gonna finish until 3:30 in the game, so he doesn't need to do wall it this fast.
Yeah, exactly. So I would rather prefer him Chrono and Adept out of the first gateway and have a unit to defend instead of spending 400 minerals on a wall, and at this point his wall is even more expensive. So he spent a lot of money and he's not probing. So that is definitely going to hurt him in the long run. And you know, when it is 4 minutes in the game and the Zerg is up 6 workers from you, that's going to be... And a second Forge.
Yeah.
Okay, second Forge and Twilight going down for Matt.
Yeah, okay. He hyper focuses on the wall, like he's really obsessed with it, like you can see with the Python fixing the too large gap. And this just puts him in a really bad position. He has 27 probes right now, and the Zerg's up to 42. And at this point in the game, they should be roughly even before the Zerg puts ahead. So being this far down is just...
Yeah, absolutely. And the Zerg is actually doing fairly well. StrawBaby is starting to bank a little bit, but we shall see if he's going to convert those into units. Does he have larva to do so? No, so how is he doing with injects? Queens are fairly low energy. Well, both hatcheries are injected. no queen on the third hatchery. We should probably be sending one of those queens down. And if we're playing roaches, then I would say we need a layer and roach speed.
Yeah, he forgot the layer. The gas timings are correct, but he hasn't put the drones in gas. So a thing the Zerg has done well is that he has links on the third base, on like both possible third bases, but there's no link that can see a move out, and there's also no link on the bottom side to make sure there's no prism leaving the base.
Yep.
So, since nothing is happening, he does not get punished for the lack of vision.
No, but he might be in trouble in a little bit. That is ultra rapid fast plus 2 weapons, and meanwhile our Zerg only has I don't think our Zerg has even Evo chambers. Yep, indeed.
He does get somewhat punished actually, because as you can see in the top left, the Protoss built a hidden nexus, and he would not have been able to sneak a probe out if the Ling was waiting for it.
Indeed. And something tells me if FBI.Matt starts, I would say 4 gateways right now, and with a charge finished and a prism pumping out, then it would be a very good timing attack when the +2 finishes. But we need to start those gateways right now. Otherwise, if we give time to StrawBaby to get his strong eco up, he's at 69 workers. He's building a macro hatch, which I'm honestly not a huge fan of. I would prefer that hatch to be an extra base and be treated as a macro hatch instead of having it in the base. Because then if you lose a base to an attack, you can just escape with drones to an already built base and not skip a beat in mining time. So I would say macro hatches, especially with this style where you're not pumping out Lings or Banes, you're building a fairly expensive unit, roaches. And we still don't have roach speed, which is a huge mistake.
Protoss about to get punished by the patch not being out yet. I don't think this played on the patch. He made an Arcan in his natural. That will be a problem to get out unless he makes a prism.
Yeah, indeed, that Archon is still didn't go on diet, and he won't be able to fit through 1x1 opening. But holy hell, is Matt on point with his upgrades. I think that we're gonna have sub 10 minutes plus 3 weapons, which is way too fast for a normal game. Actually, and he's chrono boosting them consistently. Like it's gonna be a very strong army, and we still don't have any upgrades for the Zerg. So at this point, even though Matt's army supply is less than 50% of that of the Zerg, he still can take a fairly decent fight.
Yeah, my prediction is if the Zerg gets lurkers out and stays back until he morphs like 10 lurker, he's going to win the game. But he might he would trade extremely poorly into this 45 position.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Zerg should not attack up the ramp. Like, he should see that there's so much defenses, and you know what? Losing Lings is not a huge deal if he actually pulls back. But I don't think that's the. No, he goes up and okay. I think that wasn't bad for the Zerg. He only lost a few roaches because and the Hydras, the main DPS of this army, are mostly alive.
So, yeah. I mean, I agree with Bullia saying the Zerg should trade based on bank. And I think that's perfectly fine. If you trade, lose 20 supply, and then pull back, that is completely fine, but he's not allowed to lose his entire army and then die to a counter push.
Yeah,
I
and
think they're probably on the same
I
page.
can't believe that Matt was able to get up 2 sneak ninja bases without Zerg realizing. Like he has changelings and he has vision in the on the map, but it's just slightly wrong positioning.
Yeah, especially his opponent is seemingly too base and makes high-tech units. Like that alarm bell should really go off.
Oh, okay. This is hugely bad. Roughly half of the army is engaging there, and no roaches to front the hydras for this attack. So this is.
I think Zerg wins the game here.
I think that if the Zerg remaxes, which they're doing, and let's see what they're making. Okay, here's the problem. He's making 36 roaches. He should be making equal amounts of roach and hydra for a future lurker transition. Remaxing on 36 roaches when when the opponent still has 7 immortals is and he's making 2 immortals at a time. Roaches just die to immortals very quickly. Oh, but this is huge. So we have one of the ninja bases probably gonna go down. Now all those drones are gonna die. The Nexus is gonna go down, and this is gonna put a huge dent in Matt's economy. And okay, this is a good fight for the Zerg because again, the Zerg should remax on a balanced army, but a lot of these immortals will go down, and coupled with the eco damage, this is GG for Protoss.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, we have 42 Hydras in production, and again, if you're doing a Hydra Roach army, the Roaches play a key part in this. They are your meat shield. They are your cannon fodder for fairly glass cannon Hydras. Okay, so we have Zerg remaxed again, and yeah, this is a good time to tech up. We need to have Hive going. We need to have Lurker Den starting. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm missing a fight. Bad observing on my part. But yeah, so this base of the Protoss will fall again, and GG's called. Good game out of StrawBaby. We there's definitely some improvement, but for a plat, I believe StrawBaby's plat player, that was a pretty good showing, I'd say.
Yeah. Do you know if Pig's Bronze to GM series focuses on Roach Hydra?
Yes, for Bronze to GM series from Pig for Zerg, I believe up until Diamond is Roach Hydra mostly.
Okay.
Because it is a very noob-friendly composition.
I think that might explain his reluctance to get Lurker, because there really is no downside to just throw down a Lurker then in this game.
Yep, indeed.